Hi, it's Ingrid here. Natasha from Addicts to Art has asked me to show you some tutorials in fluid acrylic painting. So join me, put on some old clothes, put out lots and lots of plastic because it's going to get very, very messy. But enjoy it, and I'll show you from the introductory level to all the way to more involved techniques as well. So let's go have some fun. Hi, for today's class I'm going to show you how to do a swipe. Normally I would just show an introduction swipe where you would just basically do a plain swipe, but what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to do a swipe that's got a little bit more of a control to it, having something in mind. So what I'm going to do, I'll explain as I go along. What I want to do is I want to try and make a picture that will look like under the sea. So to start with, I have got my board, which I have covered with white paint, and I add a little bit of silicone in the paint. Excuse me. And I want to make this look like an under the sea kind of a look. So I'm going to take some brown to make things that look like rocks, or it could possibly be kelp later, and do lines. So what you're basically going to do is you take your board, you cover your board with your base paint, and then you're going to put all different colors onto the board, and then when you're finished you're going to swipe over it with another color, and then the other color will allow the colors that you put down first to show through. You will understand as I go along. It sounds a bit weird. So I have my brown, and then I'm going to use some yellow ochre, which will kind of look like the floor, and then I'm going to take my watercolors. My colors I'm using for water, I'm using turquoise, light blue, and primary blue, and I have mixed a couple of drops of silicone in them as well to get nice cells. So looking at your consistency of your paint, it must be quite runny. I don't know if you can see nicely from there. Kind of like if you take honey and warm it, it will give you that kind of a color. So let's just pour it around. And that was the light blue, turquoise, as you can see, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to just give you the colors coming through your swipe color. The colors will also blend nicely together when you swipe it, but you want to get some kind of a detail as to what colors you want to show through when you're finished. The idea is just to cover as much of the white, get close to the edges as well, so that the painting doesn't look like it's only in the middle. And then my primary blue, which is a nice dark blue. I think I'll put the dark blue mainly on the top because that's where the water would be darkest. So where you would normally just do like a colorful pour wherever your paint lands up, wherever, this one I'm being a little bit more controlled and having a bit more thought into it as to what's going to go where and what's going to show through. Just making sure my edges are done. There we go. Now what I've done is I've kept some of my white that I used for my backing, and if you remember correctly, it has got some silicone in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this at the bottom on top of my ochre. And then you can either use a paint scraper or an old credit card, or laminated paper, which I like. You can also use paper towel, whatever suits you. You're going to put your paper down. This is with the laminate paper. You're going to put it down, let go your fingers so that you're not applying any pressure. And the idea is, in one movement, to pull the white paint over the existing paint. In one movement, all the way to the top and over. And then wipe your paper off. Try not to hang it on top of your painting, because what will happen is it will drip. Okay, I've wiped off my piece of paper, and the next swipe. You can overlap your swipes if you want to. It's better to overlap it than to have a piece in between that is open and you have to go over it again. It can sometimes be quite tricky. You can see I've got some nice cells coming out already. Let go so you don't push too hard, and then just pull it over in one move all the way to the end. And again. And you don't have to go fast, because your acrylic flow paint takes quite a long time to dry. There's no hurry at all. You can take your time. You can see already we're getting some very nice bubbles going. Just filling up my torch. If you have a butane torch, you can then decide where you want to activate more cells. I feel the more cells the better at this point. So there you go. Now if you pick it up and you tilt it, you're going to stretch it out and it's going to elongate all your cells. I like these to look more like bubbles, which is basically what I've got here. And as it dries, the bubbles will grow, and then we'll see what it looks like, and I'll post a picture once it's dry and we can see what we've got. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.